Geeks and Gamers, sports community, what's good? This is your boy Pat, a.k.a. Mayor of Oakland, a.k.a. the Tuck Rule Master, remember, instigator. And, well, as you can see from our gallery view, we are being joined by the CEO for the first time in quite a while, along with, of course, my right-hand man, Roy, as always. And we are back for our Super Bowl preview edition of the Sports Wars podcast. How are we feeling, gentlemen?
Pretty good. You know, I can't be called CEO. Apparently, I'm not a CEO. That's not a proper title according to some of these Twitter trolls out there. So just to, make sure I make them happy. Fuck you. I am the CEO, motherfucker. And ain't nothing you can do about it. I actually don't even call myself that anymore. But then I guess there's an interview with me where I said it, and people are like, he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know how the fuck I've created this entire goddamn thing we have going on with Geeks and Gamers and Sports Wars. That is the truth. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm here, and we're going to figure it out. Happy to be here, guys.
All right, Roy.
Same collection of hooligans and assholes, and we got the band back together, and of course, we are graced with the presence of the Geeks and Gamers, Vince McMahon himself. We gotta when he signs off, he's got to do the walk.
That's right.
So,
yeah, Jimmy,
go ahead.
You should be happy to be back in the mix because you can take a screenshot of this and be like, hey, here's me with a black person for all those people who say all that shit.
Yeah, we should tell him what you said before the show, but we'll leave that out. So.
Maybe we'll get to that later. Anyway, in any case, obviously there is there's some kind of sporting event down in Atlanta on Sunday. We're going to get to that later. But like all of our Super Bowl preview shows, of course, we're going to start with NBA talk. Now, there's a good amount to unpack in terms of the last week or so. So I'm just going to give a general timeline, and then we can get everyone's overall thoughts, feelings, reactions, angry rants, whatever. One, Anthony Davis of the New Orleans Pelicans. And for those of you who are unaware, a pelican is the state bird of Louisiana. That's why the fuck their team is called the Pelicans. All right, just want to make that clear. He made it publicly known that he does not intend to accept the max offer that was coming to him as he becomes a free agent this next upcoming offseason. And all indications point to him wanting to become a Los Angeles Laker. Now, there's a lot of different opinions and thoughts going around about this whole thing because, as we know, Anthony Davis signed with Clutch Sports, which is run by Rich Paul, who is LeBron James's right-hand man, best friend, and top business associate. All right, James put this guy through college. He went through, learned the lay of the land, and, well, now he's making power moves. So, one, New Orleans, the Pelicans, this is an NBA franchise and kind of an obscure market for the NBA. And this is also the team that at one point was owned by the league. I'm not 100% sure if they still are. I want to say the family that owns the Saints bought them out.
Yeah, it's the Benson family now owns them.
Correct. Yep. So you have all that going on. And then a few weeks ago when Kyrie Irving was, feeling remorseful for his Stella Got Her Groove Back tour when he went on bashing about LeBron, saying this and that about LeBron and how he's an independent woman and you don't need no man and all that. He dialed all that shit back and put it out there that he called LeBron James while LeBron was having dinner with Kevin Love, of all people, to apologize for the way that he acted. And oh, by the way, Kyrie Irving also becomes a free agent this summer. Are you starting to see the gears shifting? Reaction, fellas.
Let me jump in since it's been a while since I've been here. And again, thanks for having me back. Appreciate it. I've missed it. I've missed talking sports. I love this. I love first of all, I love the game that the NBA is playing with the NFL. It's obvious that the NBA is trying to steal some thunder from the NFL. I don't give a shit. $50,000 fine for Anthony Davis. Get
what?
Out of here.
That's in his back pocket right now.
It's unbelievable.
So they actually broke it down. It's not even a quarter of a game check.
Yeah. So it's like they clearly wanted this information out there. They're probably going to pay that for Anthony Davis anyway. I mean, $50,000, get the hell out of here. So the NBA jockeying for, more airtime and everything like that. And I think that's fantastic. That's how the game should be played. It's Super Bowl week. They want to take some of that attention from the Super Bowl, and they're doing a great job of it. Anthony Davis, to me, is the future of the NBA. He is a generational talent. This guy is on another level. He is incredible. And unfortunately, he's in a very small market. New Orleans is not a small market per se, but in terms of sports, nobody's watching the Pelicans. Nobody cares. Nobody. I live a few hours from New Orleans. Nobody cares about the Pelicans. They do care about the Saints, but not the Pelicans. So Anthony Davis definitely needs to make it to a bigger market. With the way the NBA is starting to, not starting to, but the way the NBA has kind of moved into these more super teams now, having Anthony Davis with LeBron at the tail end of his career, because LeBron is still an elite player and he's still the best player in the league right now, as long as he comes back from this injury as the same LeBron. He's still the best player in the league, but I don't think he's going to be the best player in the league maybe by next year. I think he may lose a step or two, and that's not to say anything bad about him. I don't think Brady's the best quarterback per se in the NFL anymore because his age is starting to get to him a little bit, but he's still elite. You know what I mean? So with Anthony Davis joining LeBron, that's perfect. And then you have obviously the Western Conference Finals are going to be the NBA Finals every year with the Warriors. And then if Kyrie jumps over there, I think that's beautiful. And then I think that it's going to make it very interesting for what Golden State's going to do, because we know we got the Draymond stuff, we got the Kevin Durant stuff. NBA drama is the best in sports. Like, there's no other drama like NBA drama. So I love it. I love Anthony Davis in LA. That's where he needs to be because he's the future of the NBA. And when LA and New York are more relevant, the NBA is better. So I'm all for it.
I gotta agree. I mean, obviously the Lakers right now are kind of, I don't say reeling, but they're right outside the playoff hunt with LeBron missing the last month. But they're only 2 games out. I mean, LeBron could probably make that up in his sleep. Yeah. I think one of the bigger stories besides Anthony Davis wanting to – apparently his agent's already telling people, like, look, he's not going to re-sign with anybody but L.A. We've seen this kind of play out before with Paul George. Apparently he told people – the rumor was he wouldn't re-sign with OKC. We saw that played out. We'll see how it plays out with Kawhi and Toronto right now. But I think how this is going to play out is if the Lakers they have to decide if they want to hurry up and make this move now, or do they wait until the offseason when Boston can kind of swoop in and take over. I think you've got to make it now. Go ahead and get him and LeBron comfortable together. He's on deal for 4 years, 3 more years after this. I also agree with Jeremy. I mean, Davis is the future of the league. LeBron knows he signed with LA for 4 years knowing that he wasn't going to be the headline for all 4 of those years. So, I mean, I think you got to get Davis. I think that the plan was always to get one other star. I'm not sure about the Kyrie thing. I know he kind of made amends with LeBron, but, I mean –
Kyrie's a weird guy, man. He's a weird guy. I never know what to do. And I like Kyrie. Kyrie's got Mamba mentality. He's got that Kobe edge to him, but he's also weird. He's just weird guy. He seems to have an identity crisis. He seems to have an identity crisis. Like, on one hand, he liked being there with LeBron, and then the next he wants to be the man. And I don't know.
And then he realized being the man wasn't exactly all it was kind of cracked up to be. And he was like, fuck, I'd rather just be like Luigi now.
Yeah.
The thing about Kyrie, Jeremy, you bring up kind of an interesting parallel there. Kyrie, for all his talent, and I don't think he's like a bad guy really in capacity, but let's just call a spade a spade. The guy's a weirdo. Kobe was aloof, but he wasn't just flat out weird. Kyrie is different.
Yeah. Yeah. Kobe is a machine. Like, Kobe is locked and loaded, 100% focused. He don't want to be your friend. He don't care about all that shit.
Kobe's trying to put up 50 at the cookout. Like, he's dunking on his grandmother.
The thing about
uncles,
all of them,
like plastic folks with like a granddad out there with a plastic hip. He's dunking on him. He's talking trash. I mean, I don't think anybody can dispute that's what Kobe was.
He's dunking on the nasty uncle who's had too many drinks, all that shit.
Yep.
But the thing I think people lose track of in regard to Kobe's makeup when you're squaring him up with other people's personalities, especially if all these guys are going to magically end up on the Lakers, is that Kobe grew up outside of the U.S. and outside of basketball and, for the larger part, Black culture in the U.S. The kids from Italy. So all those various dynamics in terms of, oh, well, you got to be one of the boys, you got to be one of the homies, you kind of have to fall in line, kind of like how LeBron used to get on Kevin Love about how he wasn't falling in line. Like, no, the dude is a organic loner. Now, if Kyrie is going to play that same lane, okay, sure, but where is it going to be? Is it going to be in Boston where you're expected to be the leader with a bunch of young pieces and a pretty young head coach? Or are you going to get back with your ex?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And the other thing, too, is Kyrie, if Kyrie can get there and LeBron isn't the LeBron, he's always going to take more attention than anybody. But he may not be able to be the guy that controls every aspect of the game. You know what I mean? And
Jordan in Washington.
Right. So, like, if AD is there, if LeBron is there, Kyrie can kind of be that heart and soul of the team, because LeBron kind of controls the ball. He kind of makes sure everybody's where they need to be. But LeBron's going to get to that point. And, again, maybe LeBron is elite next year. Maybe he's still the best player in the league next year. I wouldn't doubt it because he's LeBron. But at some point, he's going to take that step back a little bit. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the thing is Kyrie's like, I can control things like I want to. I don't know. I don't know what's in Kyrie's head, and I don't know if Kyrie.
I'd like to see Kyrie in New York, to be honest. If I'm being honest, I'd love to see him in New York. The East battling with Boston and Philly and the Knicks, and then out west with the Lakers. And there's some rumblings about the Clippers. We could probably go into that a little bit later on in the year.
I don't care if Anthony Davis goes to the Clippers. I don't give a shit about the Clippers.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Because you know who's running the show in with the Clippers now?
Yeah, Jerry West.
Yeah, the same guy who pretty much built helped build the Warriors, helped build the Lakers, helped build Memphis into that contender they had for years and years.
I need answers.
So I'm here for it. Like you said, there's no sports drama like NBA drama, and it's all great. I'm here for it all.
But your point about Kyrie going to New York, I always want the Knicks to be relevant.
I mean, I would love it.
Are relevant. Basketball is better. It's just how it is.
If we were really going to shake things up, Kyrie and KD with the Knicks.
Oh God.
Anthony Davis.
Don't forget Porzingis now.
Anthony Davis and Kemba Walker in LA. That's the switcheroo that should happen.
For whatever reason for me, and I don't know why, because I do think KD is kind of soft in terms of his personality and everything, but for some reason, I feel like Kevin Durant is the perfect fit for New York basketball, though, even though he is a soft personality, and I think that doesn't go well with New York, but
not typically.
There's something about Kevin Durant and just everything about him that just feels like he should be in New York, being the star of New York. I don't know what it is. Maybe there was a story. I guess he played some pickup basketball a few years ago on the streets of New York with a bunch of people, and I just was like, that kind of feels right. I don't know. KD in New York, it just has the right feel. But yeah, KD and Kyrie, that would actually go right up the alley of the drama with LeBron and all that. So
I mean, imagine how awesome that those Knicks Celtics games would be if Kyrie blew them off to go upstate.
It'd be great.
Or I guess west, geographically speaking. But yeah, awesome. I mean, dude, Knicks Celtics would be dope. And then the Sixers are still coming around. Jimmy Butler. Ben Simmons. I mean, dude, the East would be set up for years.
For all of the top heaviness that the NBA gets criticized for, it's actually the league's in pretty damn good shape. I mean, you got OKC that's doing their thing. You've got Houston doing their thing. You got Philadelphia, coming up. Boston's kind of like we thought Boston was going to be better this year, but they're still relevant. Obviously, you got LA with LeBron, which they're not obviously in the playoff picture, but they have LeBron. I mean, they're relevant.
And we haven't even mentioned the top two seeds in the East, which are Milwaukee and Toronto.
There you go. So I mean the
Giannis has been putting up MVP numbers for 2 years now, But it's treated like a passing in the wind because
it's because he's going. It's because of Harden. I mean, Harden's numbers have been ridiculous. He's putting up.
And that is a perfect segue for us to speak on one of Jeremy's favorite people. Now, granted, it was a loss to Anthony Davis and the Pelicans in their last game, but James Harden extended his streak of 30 points or more per game to 24 straight games last night in a loss to the Pelicans. Once again, because you haven't been around in a little while, Jeremy, just talk to us.
I mean, I think James Harden is unbelievably talented. And he is crazy. Like, it's crazy how great he is on the offensive side of the ball. Like, he's unbelievable. There's no doubt about that. But he's also, like, he never shows up in playoff time when he's needed to. And that's such a strange thing. I don't have anything against James Harden per se. I just have a problem with his game. And the fact that he can do what he's doing right now, which is all-time great. He's doing things nobody's ever done. Yet when it comes to the playoffs, the man never shows up. If you go back to the finals, when OKC was in the finals, he was really awful. Like, do you guys remember how bad he was?
Yeah.
Like, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Like, it made LeBron's performance against Dallas look great. That's how bad James Harden was. I mean, it was so bad. And we've seen him do this twice now, back-to-back years in the playoffs. Like, he just doesn't show up when it's needed most. And he also, hang on. Never mind. I just fouled out of the game because I got called for James Harden. I got fouled James Harden just because I'm sitting down. Like, it's insane how many foul calls this dude gets, man.
The dude he's getting the Michael Jordan treatment for sure.
It's unbelievable, man. I think he's a phenomenal offensive talent. He's not a great defensive player, obviously. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just there's something about the biggest moments that he doesn't show up in, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. So I don't really have a problem with James Harden as much as I have a problem with this game. I wouldn't want him to be the lead superstar on my team. I wouldn't want him in Orlando. I wouldn't want him being the guy that we relied on because I know when it comes down to the moment, you can't rely on him. Like, seriously, it's bad. Like, it's the biggest drop-off from an elite superstar that I think I've seen in sports. I mean, we're not – like, I know LeBron gets criticized for this stuff a lot, and I don't think LeBron falls off the map or anything in the moment. See, sometimes he just doesn't seem to want the ball in those final moments. But, I mean, even back to the Dallas series, like, he still averaged, like, 20 points a game. You know what I mean? Like, James Harden falls off a cliff.
I think the biggest difference there, I mean, bringing up LeBron there, I think LeBron, when he tries to – in those closing minutes, he's trying to make the best basketball play, whereas somebody like Kobe and Jordan are like, "Fuck it, give me the ball. I'll take responsibility." Mm-hmm. Whereas LeBron, not necessarily.
Right.
Harden, on the other hand, like you said, he's. I don't know. I've watched a lot of frustrating basketball. Like I tried to watch the Oklahoma City OKC with Russell Westbrook last year. Tried to watch him this year. He's frustrating as fuck to watch. Harden is too. Like I said, the 6 foul calls he gets in the backcourt, like, and man, it is crazy to me. Like he's getting the superstar treatment for the foul calls, and like LeBron does. I don't think Kobe got those calls like that.
Nobody has. I've never seen anybody get these calls. Now, again, I've never been a person that's really made a big deal about people getting calls. I've always kind of defended that because superstars get the calls. Like, that's just how it's always been. Michael Jordan got the calls. Kobe Bryant gets the calls. Tom Brady gets the calls. Peyton Manning got the calls. The stars get the calls. But James Harden, it's so distorted, man. He gets calls LeBron doesn't get. Like, he gets calls LeBron is the one that should be getting the calls. And James Harden is getting, like, LeBron plus Jordan treatment. Like, it's insane. Like,
I mean, when all that into consideration, has there ever been a point where LeBron utilized the step back as much as Harden is utilizing it now?
No.
And granted, I'm really not one way or the other as a critic of his. I think what he's doing is pretty badass. And a lot of the people who are kind of nitpicking it from a more technical standpoint, like, oh, well, it doesn't represent ball movement. It doesn't represent him sharing the ball, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that's true, but Clint Capella and Chris Paul are both out. So if he doesn't make up for that discrepancy in terms of scoring, and the Rockets, who aren't exactly near the top of the heap in the West, like
they're going to rely on Eric Gordon to make up that scoring.
PJ Tucker shows up wearing the most fucking exclusive shoes every night to score 7 points. Like,
yeah. My problem isn't James Harden. I mean, I think he's an unbelievable talent, man. But I just, when it comes to playoff time, man, it's just. He's the reason OKC didn't win those finals. Like, and I get it. You know, KD could have played better. Westbrook could have played better. But James Harden was non-existent. I mean, it was so bad. And again, he's done this multiple times in Houston now too. And he'll probably – I mean, right now he's kind of the front runner to win MVP, right? Is he the lead guy?
I think he's
and Giannis. You know, but – I mean, if James Harden wins the MVP this year and he goes and puts up another stinker of a series that gets them eliminated, I mean, it's going to be such an indictment of him in terms of he's a great regular season player. He's going to be the most lopsided regular season versus postseason great elite player that I think I've seen. Like, you talk about Peyton Manning's, you can talk about, you know, Dan Marino's, you can talk about LeBron. There's never been this big of a drop off.
I mean, remember a couple years ago that we were that Steph Curry was on pace to shoot just this crazy amount of threes, and right now Harden has 176 more 3-point attempts than Curry. Jeez. Harden is number one in the league with 626 3-point attempts. Not total. Not total shots, just 3-point field goal attempts. That's 176 more than Steph Curry. He's only made 27 more than Steph Curry.
Wow.
Like, that shit is crazy.
I can't believe how many more shots he hit.
That is some insane volume.
He's taken more.
What's his percentage? Do we know his percentages?
I can look that up right now.
It's got to be – I'm hoping it's at least over 30. What's Curry usually shooting in the, low 40s? Something like that is what Curry usually shoots.
More like mid to high 40s, depending. But of course, it goes up and down.
Right now, James Harden is shooting 37% from 3 points.
Okay, that's pretty good. It's not quite where he's not on Curry's level or some of the, pretty much anybody on the Warriors.
Curry, let's see, to compare him to Curry is also number 2 in attempts and number 2 in made shots. Curry is shooting 45% from 3-point line.
Ah, darn, that's nasty. That's ridiculous.
And that's actually not the highest of his career.
So question for both of you guys. And all kind of to Jeremy's point in terms of a discrepancy between postseason and regular season, like, we're a handful of weeks out from the All-Star break. And it's commonly known, if you don't have your shit together after the All-Star break, something is seriously aloof. Now, realistically speaking, what is the ceiling for Harden as an individual and for this Rockets team as a whole post-Trevor Ariza? Because when they had Ariza last year, they took the Warriors to 7 games. What's the ceiling for them now without that piece?
Cannon fodder. Right now, we're just joking around. Harden is taking 626 3-point attempts. He's taken more 3-point shots than any other shot. He has a 1,136 total. So more than half of those are 3-point shots. I think we can all agree that if Golden State gets hot, nobody's beating them.
I feel like Golden State's going to smoke them.
And they just don't have enough firepower. Harden's scoring right now. Harden's averaging 36 points a game. Golden State, they need him to score that. Golden State doesn't need anybody to average more than 25.
Right. And so what's going on with Chris Paul?
I want to say he just came back from hamstring, the same hamstring injury that put him out of Game 7 last year?
You know the running back injuries he gets because he's built like a running back.
Yeah, he's such. I hate Chris Paul. I used to love Chris Paul, man. He is such a bitch. But I think like that's going to play an element into it. I mean, if Chris Paul, like if he can be healthy for the second half of the season, and him and James Harden can develop some type of, and I'm not saying they don't have chemistry because clearly they do, but they still need to get that back on track in order for a good playoff run. Right now, the team is kind of built around James Harden just carrying the load. You know what I mean? So if they can get Chris Paul back into the rotation, that's going to affect how they perform against Golden State. But I don't think if Golden State is if Houston's playing at a 10 out of 10 level and Golden State's only playing at like a 5 out of 10 level, I still think Golden State wins. But that's not going to happen. We're not going to get to the point where the Rockets are playing that much more elevated than Golden State. I think Golden State takes them in 5, maybe 6. I don't think they can hang with Golden State as long as Golden State keeps their shit together and keeps their feelings out of it, because that's really the only thing that's kind of knocked them off course is the whole Durant deal. But that's obviously they're on a winning streak. They'll be fine. I think they'll smoke Houston
if they ultimately match up.
Yeah.
But now to go ahead and keep things moving right along and pivot before we get into the nitty gritty of the Super Bowl, Jeremy, I got to run this by you, and Roy's probably just going to kick back and grin. I know you're a big Drew Brees guy.
Mm-hmm.
And geographically speaking, you're, like you said, you're not that far from New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Give us your take. You being a guy who's a big advocate for anti-sensitivity, anti-feelings, whatever the acronym of choice is.
We want you to tell New Orleans to shut the fuck up. Is basically
what's up with these virgin ass Saints? Not even fans, players, bitching and moaning and crying with their hurt ass feelings.
I will say, and yeah, I'm a big fan of Drew Brees. I like Drew Brees a lot. I love Drew Brees. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great ambassador to the league. I think he's a great ambassador to the city of New Orleans. He's just a good guy. New Orleans, this has been pathetic. I mean, this has been pathetic. I mean, it's not like you guys didn't have – like all I've heard is that it's not fair that New England fucking won because Tom Brady got the ball first. Who the fuck got the ball first in overtime in the New Orleans game? Can you guys tell me the answer to that question?
Oh, I absolutely can.
Yeah.
The New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, and Drew Brees threw a really bad interception. They had the chance to win the game. Every game has bad calls. Some calls are worse than others. That was obviously an all-time bad call.
That's the thing is I don't think anybody disputed like, oh, man, that was a shit call. No one, like, even the DB who tackled the wide receiver was like, man, I thought they were supposed to fucking get me. I mean, he came out and they interviewed him post game, and he was like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah!" Like I thought, I was looking for the flag.
Like he was looking at the ref the whole time, like.
And he said he heard the ref say the ball looked like it was tipped, which would mean it wasn't pass interference because once the ball's tipped, it's fair game.
Right.
We know now that it wasn't. We know now that it was a bad call. We know they called bitchin' ass, crybaby ass Sean Payton after the game. Fuck him, by the way. They called crybaby ass Sean Payton and told him, "Hey, we fucked up." But
it is. I mean, yeah. Ultimately, they got the ball in overtime. And I've heard
they took the lead, and then the Rams had the ball with like 30 seconds to go. Fucking stop them.
Yeah,
stop them. The game's over.
If this would have been the final drive to win the game, and there was maybe 15 seconds left, and that would have put them in position to kick a field goal, and that happened. And time expired, or whatever, if that was a fourth down play, I could understand the reaction a little more. But the reality of it is you had multiple opportunities to win that football game after that happened, and you didn't. The Super Bowl was in your grasp. Drew Brees has the ball, opens up overtime, take it in, win the game, go to the Super Bowl. That's what Tom Brady did. Give me the ball. We won the coin toss. Taking you down the field, we're going to win the fucking game. We're going to the Super Bowl. Drew Brees had the same opportunity, and he made a horrible decision, and he threw an interception, and it is what it is.
I mean, and let's not forget the horrible fucking play calling when they got down there. That missed pass interference. That missed pass interference was on third down.
Yeah,
Sean Payton threw the ball to the fucking backup quarterback on first down. And the incomplete stops the clock. They run the ball on second down. The Rams burn one of the 2 timeouts they have left. And then they throw the ball on third down, which means the Rams get to save another timeout. So they got the ball back with like 30 or 40 seconds to go, 1 timeout, march down the field in their house, and kick a game-time field goal.
Jeremy, I got to say I'm glad we're, on a similar page here. But the most disappointing thing about this whole situation to me, Michael Thomas is a kid from Southern California, so I figure, probably has, the same kind of energy, same kind of swag, whatever, right? This dude has been acting like a straight up virgin on Twitter on a daily basis, adding Roger Goodell, adding the NFL, adding this fucking referee, adding that fucking referee. Like, we should replay it.
What's
Get the
crazy?
Fuck out of here, bro.
What's crazy is the narrative before the game was Los Angeles Rams fans trying to petition to get these refs not to referee this game.
And now all of a sudden, all these refs live in LA.
Yeah, because the lead ref, the head referee for this game had refereed 8 Rams games previously. The fucking Rams were 0-8 in those games.
Yeah, I mean,
the referee in the Kansas City game was the same guy from Deflategate. Guess what? The Patriots still won.
Yeah,
Drew Brees lost the game on a bad decision. It's that simple. You had the opportunity to win, and you didn't do it.
Him and Sean Payton. Let's give Sean Payton his due too.
Well, yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, your quarterback's on the field, and Drew Brees made a really bad decision in overtime. Totally. So, yeah, I mean, the Saints are really – this is bad, man. This is really bad.
Like, we've had Michael Thomas come out numerous times. We've had Benjamin Watson, who, as a former Georgia Bulldog, come on, dog. And then fucking Cameron Jordan's bitch ass at the Pro Bowl with the T-shirt talking about blown calls or some – he had some shit criticizing referees on the back of his shirt.
Wasn't he the motherfucker who was fucking stomping some Rams player in, like, the second quarter?
Yeah. I mean, come on, dog. Like, let it go. I mean, and what this does, though, is if they come out and say, hey, let's replay this game, replay the last, 2 minutes, it opens up Pandora's box, man. That's the reason why it's never gonna happen. Because they replay this game, then Pittsburgh can go back and say, hey, y'all blew a fucking pass interference call in the Chargers game. Let's replay that one, because if we win that, we're in the playoffs.
It's a never-ending bullshit that they're opening up.
That rule that they kept citing, like, the commissioner can come out. We're talking like act of God shit, like a fan runs on the field and tackles a player who's on a breakaway.
It says on page 57, Article A, that if this happens,
fuck out of here.
Bad.
You sound like a bitch.
And we don't respect that bitch shit around here.
No.
Anyway.
No.
Moving on to the game that matters, the game that, teams deservedly got to.
Because if you want to see that Saints Patriot shit, go play Madden.
Yeah, and see them fucking lose by 20 points. All right, so I gotta, you guys have to bear with me a little bit. I kind of gotta go through my motions and really elaborate and convey where I'm at. Similar to last year, we had our preview show, had the jersey, the hat, the J's. We're going back and forth. And I mentioned to you guys that early on, Eagles, Patriots was like, it didn't do much for me, right? But then I started to kind of think about it a little bit more, look at the personnel, think about, okay, what guys are going to be squared up? when the actual game starts. All this other media narratives and, Brady and Belichick are getting along. Can Nick Foles, forget all that. How's the actual game going to go? And I was pleasantly surprised that it turned out to be a good-ass game. Now, I know you guys are probably thinking, like, well, you're just only saying that because Patriots – like, no. After that 28-3 shit, I was done actively rooting against fucking New England in the big game. Like, you know what? Now, fuck it. I'm indifferent. If you win 5 or you win 500, it really don't make no difference to me no more. All right? That's just where I'm at. I'm in a similar place with regard to this matchup, except I think this one potentially is either has a higher propensity to either be hot or cold. It's either going to be a low-scoring, dull, boring, usual boring CBS broadcasted game, or it's going to be a complete fucking barn burner. There's no – I don't see any legitimate possibility for an in-between. Matchup-wise, what the two things that really stand out to me are, one, what in the hell is really going on with Todd Gurley? Is he going to have a good game? Because if he's not, the Rams are in for a long afternoon. And two, we all know Belichick double teams whoever the best pass rusher is. Aaron Donald ain't the average pass rusher. This guy routinely beats double teams. And two, Sean McVay could be like, you know what? Tom Brady neutralizes a pass rush with his quick slants and quick passes anyway. Fuck getting Tom Brady. Just go stop the run. Uh-oh. So there's a lot of potentially interesting shit for this game to not suck, and I'm in a place of I don't want it to suck.
Well,
Gents.
okay, so first I want to make a point that we need to acknowledge that the GOAT will be at the Super Bowl. That is Tony Romo, because he is the GOAT announcer.
Oh yeah.
Is he not? Tony Romo's amazing, dude.
It's what they're about to do.
Oh no! What's the?
There we go. See, they did it.
Wasn't there some asshole that came out with a video saying that apparently Romo's got like some feed into the offensive coordinator or some shit? Somebody's trying to discredit Romo, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's so stupid. But
Fucking
Romo's
stupid.
great, man. I mean, there was, and it's not that he's calling the plays. It's everything, man. It's his enthusiasm, his excitement. I remember there was a point where it was like when Brady was driving in the fourth quarter, and he's like, "Here we go, guys. It's Tom Brady, 1:35 to go, headed to the Super Bowl. What more could you ask for?" It's like his enthusiasm is just – he's the best. I remember people, having so many opinions about Tony Romo getting this job and would he be able to pull it off. Shut the fuck up. I mean, he is incredible. But anyway, okay, so I'm happy Romo's calling the game. Now, on to the game. It's very interesting. I was definitely pulling for the Saints to be in this game because I wanted to see Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. But now you look at the parallels from the 2001 Super Bowl to this one and how the roles have reversed for the teams, even though one team is not in St. Louis anymore. We're going to exclude that fact.
Yeah, not the United States Rams are in it.
Yeah. So it's like it's really funny. I mean, obviously New England is on a whole different level than the St. Louis Rams were, but at the time, those St. Louis Rams were the greatest show on turf. They were the top-tier team. They were heavily favored because that was their second Super Bowl. Mike Martz and Kurt Warner were kind of the faces of the league at that point, and New England just kind of came in there as kind of the new kind of faces of the league, and a lot of people doubted them. And it's just funny how that's kind of flipped now. You've got the Patriots being the old guard, the established, dynasty versus this new team. I feel like Los Angeles has everything to gain and New England has nothing to gain and nothing to lose. Nothing. Like, I mean, if they win the game, is Belichick and Brady, like, do their legacies get better? No. Do they lose? If they lose, do their legacies get worse? No. I mean, it's going to give the talking heads a few things and go, Tom Brady lost 4 Super Bowls, but it's like, it doesn't matter. He's been to 9. He's won 5. Nothing you can do, and so New England. Go ahead.
When I saw the way that Bill Belichick reacted when 18-1 happened against the Giants the first time, like the New England sideline, the late Junior Seau, rest in peace, like all those guys, they're fucking devastated. Belichick, oh, well, I got to make some calls. Like, all right, thanks. Go shakes fucking coffins out. Like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't fucking care. He never gets too high or too low.
Yeah, and so with Los Angeles, first of all, and I'm not saying this in a conspiracy level at all. I'm just saying the NFL obviously would want the Rams to win. They're in Los Angeles. They're in Los Angeles. That's a market that they've really wanted to try and get some excitement around the NFL in. It's the biggest market.
Angeles.
Yeah, and so clearly I would say the NFL would much rather see, the Rams win. You've got a potentially megastar young coach in Sean McVay. He's the young guy. He's the good-looking guy. The media loves him. He's the offensive genius. The media would definitely just fall in love with this guy if he becomes the youngest Super Bowl champion coach ever. You've got Jared Goff, the young hotshot quarterback. He's got the height, all the typical look of a stud quarterback, the Peyton Manning, the Tom Brady, 6'5", whatever look. Then you've got the best defensive player in the NFL and Aaron Donald. Like, you've got it all right now. Like, if LA wins the Super Bowl, the ceiling is so high for what the media can do with this and the future of the coach and the quarterback. And, I mean, you're talking about potentially the next Belichick and Brady and the next Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor. That's what we're talking about here. Like, we're talking about the next level for the future of the league. So, and there's a lot of things. Like, again, I don't think New England's going into this thinking we don't have a lot to gain, but I'm just saying they've gotten there. Part of me kind of feels like them getting there is almost a win in itself because they were so doubted. It seems like there's a lot of like, we made it, you fuckers doubted us. A lot of them just feeling an accomplishment to even get to the Super Bowl. Whereas the Rams have this mentality of like, we're hungry, we want it. We shouldn't even be here because we got that cheap call. The Saints are still crying about it. We need to prove that we deserve to be here. And we're going against the Titans, the legacy, the all-timers, and we have a chance to make our names right now. It just feels like LA has a lot more to gain. So I'm not going to give a prediction yet, but that's just that's how I'm looking at the overall scope of the game right now and the parallels from 2000 to now. I think it's very interesting. And, the Rams just have there's a lot more upside to the Rams winning than the Patriots winning right now.
Absolutely. I think if McVay manages to pull this off, he's a made man. He's already getting guys. I mean, we had how many coordinators that have gotten head coaching gigs because they spent
every person who ever took a selfie with him is now a head coach.
I mean, shit. McVay had a cup of coffee with a Starbucks janitor, and he got interviewed for the OC job in Arizona. So, I mean, the dude, like, if you spend 5 minutes on the guys on his fucking staff, you're getting interviewed. What's crazy to me is, wasn't McVay and Shanahan weren't they in Washington at the same time?
I believe, I want to say McVay was like a tight ends coach or a receivers coach or something along those lines.
Because I could have swore, because I know Shanahan obviously was in Washington when his dad was there. And I know that Sean McVay, I want to say, crazy enough, to a name that probably none of us have heard in a while. Cowherd was interviewing Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia.
Yesterday. Jeff Garcia, quarterback for the 49ers. Oh,
I remember.
Back in the day.
And the Raiders.
Did he play for the – I know he played for the Browns. He played for a shit ton of teams.
He was briefly the backup to Jamarcus Russell, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh, wow. But he mentioned McVay being like the quality control coach in Tampa when he was there. So McVay's been around a while, which is crazy because McVay is actually younger than I am. McVay is like 33. Speaking of age differences, this is the biggest age difference in coaches in the history of the Super Bowl. The biggest age difference in quarterbacks in the history of the Super Bowl. It's crazy. McVay is kind of the hot young name as far as coaching goes. That it's crazy to me that just anybody that spent any time with him anywhere. The guy who just got the head coaching job in Green Bay. He was
Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, he was McVay's offensive coordinator for 1 year. Yeah,
it's kind of like how Saban's deal is. Everybody works Saban's, they get hired. That's kind of how McVay is right now.
And looking at it here, McVay and Kyle Shanahan were on the Washington Redskins coaching staff from 2010 to 2013 together. McVay started as the assistant tight ends coach. What the fuck? And then became the tight ends coach for 2011 to 2013. And then McVay took over for Shanahan when Shanahan left to become when Shanahan left to become the offensive coordinator in, I believe it was in Atlanta. When he left to become the offensive coordinator in Atlanta, that's when McVay took over as the OC in Washington. No, Shanahan took over in Cleveland and then quit. Okay. They tried to give he quit in Cleveland when they tried to give Manziel the starting job. But yeah, so I mean, that's crazy to me, dude. The Washington Redskins had two of the brightest offensive minds in the game on their staff at the same time and couldn't manage anything.
And they also managed to, have their cheerleaders be escorts, more or less.
Yeah. So,
I want to say real quick, have you guys seen this meme on NFL memes, Jared Goff versus Tom Brady? Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, which Goff has never lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Sounds like fucking three of these things.
Yeah, Jared Goff, only one career playoff loss. Tom Brady, a whopping 10 career playoff loss.
New England's not even a city.
Yeah, New England.
Not even a city.
I like how it says Jared Goff kills it on the field. Tom Brady was teammates with a murderer. Starting to remember the Titans. Is that a shot at Sunshine? Is that what they're trying to say?
Dude, he looks like Ryan Gosling. I was going to bring that shit up. The fucker looks just like Ryan Gosling.
He does look like Ryan Gosling. Okay.
Except he's like fucking 3 feet taller. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the opening night. I think they had it in the arena where the Atlanta Hawks play, but Brady sitting next to Goff, I had no idea that kid was this huge. He's fucking enormous.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, a lot of these guys will catch you off guard. I knew. I mean, I don't want to inject the fucking Falcons and everything, but I watch a lot of Falcons games. So, but
we've noticed.
I didn't realize Matt Ryan was as big as he is. Like Matt Ryan, we all know Julio is fucking huge. Mm-hmm. But when him and Julio stand next to each other, like Matt Ryan's taller than 6'3" Julio. So Jared Goff's 6'4", 222.
It's crazy, man. You realize how larger than life these guys really are. Literally, like I remember going to that awful Raiders 49ers game and seeing Richard Sherman in person for the first time, granted, up in the stadium, 100 feet away, that fool is a giant. Like, he looks skinny next to Cam Chancellor because Cam Chancellor's a fucking freak of nature, but all these fuckers are huge. Yeah, even the little football player that you think is little, you put him next to a normal person. Oh, shit. Yeah. Nope.
It's like when back in the day, I had a boss who had access to, it was like the Falcons used to have like this Falcons flag team where, before the game starts, they'd come and get this big like field sized flag and they'd stand out there and wave the shit. And that allowed us access to be like on the field. And right before the game, they'd say, okay, everybody out. And you'd walk through this tunnel and you might walk like face to face with players standing there fully geared up and shit. And I walked through the tunnel one time and the fucking Falcons long snapper was standing there. When you think long snapper, you don't think like, oh, they're just giant guys. When I say this fucker towered over me and like as big and as wide, I'm not a small guy. I mean, I'm like 6 foot. I'm a big fucker. And this dude made me look tiny. Like he had to be like 6'7", and every bit of like 290, 300. And he was just this huge fucker, man. And like,
man.
You don't, TV doesn't do it justice because you see these guys standing up next to other huge fucking guys. And I mean, like to me, you look on TV and like, oh, Todd Gurley looks kind of slim. Like he looks small. Todd Gurley's like 6'1", 6'2", and he's like 230. Like he's a big guy.
Yeah, big.
So, but I mean, back to what we were saying about the game, man. McVay, if he wins this, he's a made man. Anyone who has cleaned his house anybody who's parked this car is going to get a fucking job interview somewhere to be an
it's crazy.
coordinator.
It's crazy to think of that whole like McVay, what's becoming the McVay tree, being more prolific than what it already is, because it's already at a crazy level.
Yeah.
But if they manage to do the unthinkable, and it's not that impossible. I mean, they have a damn good roster. It's just for me, it really comes down to whether or not they are going to respond to the mystique of the Patriots like the Eagles, or if they're going to respond to it like the Seahawks. The Seahawks got into a situation and they got nervous and, oh shit, what do we do? And it went fucked up. Eagles went in there and just started throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
So which dynamic is it going to be? This is that moment where we can't hedge our bets anymore. All right, giving credit to both teams, these guys do this well. All that's over. Now we got to give our predictions, and we got to be ready for next week's show to stand by them if we're right or if we eat shit. Let's start with the respecter of women.
I mean, you guys know who I'm picking. There's no way I'm not picking New England. It really just comes down to, do I think it's going to be a big win or a small win in terms of point differential? And I mean, New England's never blown anybody out in a Super Bowl. I do believe that this is the worst team that New England has brought to the Super Bowl. I do think that the only other question of which team would be worse would be the year that, what was it? Brady won
the 2011
2012, yeah, 2012, but 2011, 2012, yeah, that was the worst team up to that point, and they shouldn't have made the Super Bowl. I think that the Rams are the better team, just like I thought the Chiefs were the better team. But I think Sean McVay is definitely has a far more better upside than Andy Reid, and I do like Andy Reid, but it's the moment, it's the Super Bowl. Again, I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think that we're looking at a 38-34 game, and I'm going to call it New England, 38-34. I think that both teams are going to be sluggish in the first quarter. New England is historically sluggish in the first quarter of Super Bowl games. It kind of feels like they're trying to feel out everything. I think that Aaron Donald is going to have an impact on Brady in the first half. Yeah, I think Gurley is going to play a major role in, though we don't know what's going to happen there. But 38-34 New England. Sluggish first quarter for both teams, letting them get their feel, getting their nerves under control. And then we'll see it kind of start opening up, and we'll probably have a pretty explosive second half.
I've been kind of trying to find the bright side in both sides this week, just because – and I really don't have a dog in this fight. I obviously my dislike for the Patriots is well known. Not really the Patriots, but Tom Brady. But the bright side I was able to find is, regardless of who wins, a Georgia running back's getting a Super Bowl ring. Obviously, Sony Michel with the Patriots, Todd Gurley with the.
Who do you prefer out of those two?
I
had to put you on spot on that one.
Now, if I'm being honest, Gurley. Okay. Michelle, he got his Rose Bowl ring in Rose Bowl. I don't think, did they get a Rose Bowl ring? He got close to the national championship. He got closer than Gurley ever got to a national championship at Georgia. Gurley's was kind of cut short due to that injury. Michelle, man, he was a good soldier the whole time he was at Georgia. He played his part. He never bitched. He never complained, which is probably why he was so coveted by Belichick, man. He's a guy that goes in, does his job, doesn't raise hell about it, doesn't bitch. Yep. I've gotten several texts this week from a friend of ours that's been kind of fucking with me about all the Georgia Bulldogs heading up north. They
can't imagine who.
Yeah, he's and apparently Belichick was interviewed and he was asked specifically about which college programs he likes, and he name dropped Kirby Smart in Georgia specifically. Because we keep giving him fucking offensive linemen and his running back now. Because he's got David Andrews is a Georgia guy. He's the center. Isaiah Wynn's going to be a starting tackle for them next year, but he got hurt. But god damn it, I'm going to go with the Rams. Surprisingly, shockingly, but I'm going to take it a step further. I'm also going to predict an MVP. I don't think it's going to be anybody on offense. I think it's going to be Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is going to wreak havoc. It's easier to double team a guy. To me, I feel like it's easier to double team and chip a guy on the edges. I don't see anybody that has really handled Aaron Donald he is basically Khalil Mack on the inside, and he just blows everything the fuck up. And he is almost impossible to block. So I'm thinking Aaron Donald's going to have one of those Von Miller type games that Von had against the Panthers and just raises hell. I think also I'm going to go opposite of Jeremy here. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be like 21-17, 21-20. I think it's going to look closer than it actually is. I'm definitely predicting defensive touchdown for the Rams. I don't know who, but I do think Donald is going to get the MVP here.
Okay.
Fuck you, by the way, just for picking against New England. So
this
I always do.
I know you do.
This is where I'm at. All right. The Atlanta Super Bowl, New England's defense was trash for 3 quarters. The Philadelphia Super Bowl, New England's defense was trash for 4 quarters. This Super Bowl, a lot of those same pieces are still there, and now they're a year older, except that guy on the right-hand side who uses his dreadlock powers. I'm talking about Stephon Gilmore. Let's call a spade a spade. Stephon Gilmore is a damn good corner, and he is overlooked and overrated because he plays on the team with Tom Brady, and it's so much easier to give the accolades to Tom Brady. Stephon Gilmore is a monster, y'all. Like, they put him on Alshon Jeffrey last year, and yeah, they ultimately lost the game. But after that, Alshon Jeffrey wasn't going off no more. So I predict Stephon Gilmore probably picking Goff off at some point. However, I also think either Aqib Talib or Marcus Peters is going to pick off Brady. So for the whole paradigm of which team is going to make a defensive play first, I think both of these defenses potentially can have a play come from an unexpected piece. You know, it's easy for us to anticipate a Trey Flowers or a Dante Hightower sacking Jared Goff. It's easy for us to know that Aaron Donald or maybe even Ndamukong Suh, that big mean son of a bitch, is going to make Brady's life hell for 4 hours. But those secondaries, these are 2 secondaries that are kind of maligned, underlooked, whatever. I think they potentially could cause the momentum swings of the game to be even more chaotic than whatever the hell it already is going to be. With that being said, I can't quite pick against New England just like I couldn't last year. If I end up being wrong, will it be surprising? Not really.
This is why I bring black people on to Geeks and Gamers right here. No, honestly, this is the first time Pat has ever said anything remotely close to a compliment of New England. I'm going to take
I picked them last year.
I don't acknowledge you.
That's why he's picking them this year, goddammit.
Yeah, it's reverse psychology bullshit.
Hey, man, I don't do none of that none of that touchy-feely NPC or whatever the fuck it is, all right? No, I'll go ahead and give them the nod to win. I think it'll probably be a 30-27 just because I feel like, yeah, the Rams have the better roster. They're stronger, faster, whatever. But I feel like if it comes down to some sort of situational circumstance, issue, whatever, that I can't pick Belichick. I can't pick McVay over Belichick because the discrepancy in experience is too great. If I'm wrong, you know, it is what it is. But kind of to Jeremy's point, I expect it to be an exciting game. I've gotten myself looking forward to it, even though I wasn't originally. But if New England wins, like, okay, they won 6, they already have 5. Does that really change anybody's feelings on one side of the fence or the other?
That's right.
Not really. New England fans, if you lose, like, are you guys really going to be upset if you lose? Like, let's keep it real. You're not going to lose any sleep.
I will say, like, as a Bama fan, the Clemson loss did not hurt me as bad as it should have because Bama's been spoiled. Bama fans have been spoiled for so long, and I mean, I've been through the bad times with Alabama, and
they're going to be right back next year,
right? I mean, I mean, obviously, like that game was so weird, but it didn't hurt me like the kick 6 game hurt. Like that fucking hurt. You know what I mean? Like that hurt. The 2007 New England Patriots Super Bowl loss hurts. It still hurts. The Clemson loss just didn't hurt. I don't know why. So with this, like I said, man, it just feels like there's a sense of accomplishment with Brady just making it back to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It feels like that there's this sense of pride and accomplishment already. So a loss at this point, I mean, I don't know what it does. It does nothing for legacy. It does nothing for the points been made. The man's still the best. He's still amazing. He's 41. He's still putting teams in Super Bowls. He's still, when postseason gets here, like, I don't know what this proves. He's so beyond proving anything now. So, but
I mean, if he dragged a very subpar group of guys to one, and if they lose, he'll probably be pissed off in the locker room for all of 20 minutes. Like, what the fuck, guys? It'll be that situation.
Yeah.
I got a little fun fact to throw out to y'all. All right. To support my Aaron Donald theory, we remember, of course, some of us have different memories of the Atlanta New England Super Bowl a couple years back.
Memories? You mean traumatized nightmares?
Some of us have pleasant memories. Others have nightmares. But one of my pleasant memories from that game was Grady Jarrett tying the sack record for most sacks in a single Super Bowl with 3. The New England offensive line from that game is the exact same. Well, 4 out of 5 starters are back. So it's the exact same 4. So they have trouble with interior offensive linemen, and Aaron Donald is there. So I like Grady Jarrett. He is one of the top 5 defensive tackles in this game. He's not Aaron Donald. So take that with
Donald's a beast. No, Donald's a beast. Donald's a beast. I'll just say, let me remove Ahsoka real quick. And I got somebody else that I can put here on the microphone. Let me put right there. There we go. There we go. I don't know if he's going to stay because it's a big old thing.
All I see is a white jersey and number 12. Is that Andrew Luck?
If he falls over, somebody's going to throw a fucking flag.
Did Tebow start wearing number 12?
Good stuff right there. So we got the GOAT with me here, and probably going to be holding his 6th ring next time we talk. So looking forward to it.
With all that being said, any shout outs, Jeremy?
No, I just want to, it's been a while since I've been here on Sports Wars, but you're going to be seeing more of me. I'm going to be making videos. They're probably going to be pissing these guys off, ruffling some feathers, getting some.
We're pretty familiar with your soapboxes, but
yeah, I'm definitely going to be providing more content for Sports Wars here. With everything, I've been so busy. I've been traveling a lot, and I just want to, we've done a lot of cool things. We did the 24-hour live stream. We raised a bunch of money for charity. I got to go out to Bakersfield. And meet Danny, who runs the animal rescue, the dog rescue, and it's really just awesome that we have a community of people that were willing to provide us with enough charities where we can donate to places like that. And when we're there, we got to meet one of the dogs that they rescued and got to meet some of his team, and then while we're there, another dog got stabbed. Like a dog got stabbed. I guess Bakersfield's a pretty rough area, from what I hear at Pat. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but apparently Bakersfield's a pretty rough area.
It has its parts that are colorful. That's the way I
Yeah,
would put
and
it.
so like a German Shepherd got stabbed while we were there, and they had to deal with that. And I'm like, my
Jesus.
God, man. So I'm like, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're doing our part to support these
Fuck,
people
they're
that are just
stabbing
doing it.
dogs. Stabbing
It's
dogs.
crazy. It's crazy. And unfortunately, the German Shepherd didn't make it. And that's the type of people that we're trying to, support so they can help get those animals out of those dangerous situations. It's awful. So anyway, shout out to everybody. I appreciate it. And just thank you for all the support. And I look forward to, a really strong year for Sports Wars for Geeks and Gamers and, everything else we got going on.
Roy, this week's rendition of Shitty Shoutouts.
I've got one special shitty shout out. This goes for another week for the New Orleans Saints fans. For the
shocker
for the cheap seats. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up already. It's over. They're not replaying the game. You can bitch about it for another year because something else is going to happen next year. You fucked up your chance last year with the Minnesota Miracle. You fucked up your chance this year. Blame it on the refs. Karma's a bitch. That's all this is. Karma is a bitch. So again, I want to reiterate. Shut the fuck up. Back to you.
I have two very distinct shout outs. Now, for maybe, new members of the audience who will inevitably see this video by virtue of Jeremy's presence. Jeremy and I, we're buddies, we're cool. Boys, been working together for almost 4 years now with this whole Sports Wars thing. Just because you see us going back and forth and arguing and bitching with each other, don't get it misunderstood and twisted, all right? And don't get ahead of yourselves. All this, you're gonna show up to this convention and do this and that. You're not gonna do none of that shit, all right? Now, I don't necessarily plan on really attending any of these things, but if I did, trust me, you would not keep the same energy in person, all right? So don't kid yourselves. That's number one. And number two, to piggyback off what Roy said, you bitching, crying, pussy ass, whining ass, sissy ass Saints, whatever, fans, players, personnel, record label and organization, all that shit.
Bitches.
All
you
up
see
in the
this
video.
number? You see this number right here? If we ain't replaying this shit, y'all ain't replaying that bullshit. Period. Cut. End of story. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you all later. Go whatever team you root for.
Patriots.
As always, fuck Tom Brady.